Imagine a year where I'm the best. Everything rules because I'm in charge. I'm in charge of everything. And
No, Zach, that's not the truth. Imagine a year where I'm the best and everything I do is great.
Guys, I want you to take a step back for a minute. I want you to really think about this.
Yeah.
Have you stepped back?
I'm stepping back right now.
So are you stepping back or
I've stepped back. I've stepped back now.
Okay, good. That's good to know. So from that new vantage point,
yes.
now that you've stepped back,
yeah.
I want you to imagine, hold in your mind's eye, a year where I'm the best.
Oh.
And everything is great because I'm in charge.
What year would that be, Zach?
It's 1950.
Cool. Hello and welcome to Oldie But a Goodie. It is a brand new decade here on the show. I've been travelling through time and I've reached 1950. And I've got the orphan by my side.
Wow!
I've got the forest to my other side. We're in a forest. And, I'm walking around. I'm going to try and find my co-host, Zach, in one of these people, maybe even a guest, because I want to review Rashomon today. Oh, la-dee-da-dee-da, it's a wonderful day.
I don't know why no one says, what? What does that even mean?
What does
Who
what
are you?
mean?
What are you doing in my backyard?
Who are you?
Oh, I'm Takeshi Mushima.
Oh, that's a wonderful, wonderful. I'm just walking around this forest. It's lovely, isn't it?
Mm. Well, would you be interested in any sort of metal work, perhaps?
Depends what sort of metal. I'm more of a
magnetic type of metal.
Oh, now you're talking my bloody language. If you would have said non-magnetic metal,
Yeah.
I would have left. But you said magnetic, my ears are pricked.
Oh, don't you worry. I've just recently invented MKM steel.
Oh, now I love MK Ultra, so anything that's got the same sort of letters in it as that,
Thankfully, for this character, I have no idea what that is.
It hasn't been invented yet.
Yeah, thank God.
I don't think. I think that's the 60s, we should be fine.
Shut up. So I've invented MKM steel, which is a aluminium and nickel combined.
Oh, I love aluminum, so that's great.
Yeah, it's much like that, but it's very magnetic and has a lot of use in the scientific field.
I certainly hope someone doesn't try and steal it.
Yeah, that. I see what you did there. Steal and steal.
Yes.
I see that's a joke, and you're not actually trying to rob me here.
What's the big deal?
Oh shit!
Hey, what's going on over here?
Oh my god, it's a mobster from New York come to steal the steel.
Wait, that doesn't make any sense. We're in rural Japan right now. Why is there a mobster here?
Hey, I'm Ronin in here, alright?
Oh my god, wait a bloody second. Wait, I've met mobsters before, and I've met you before. Jack, are you pretending to be a mobster again?
Yeah. I thought you'd buy me as a mercenary samurai, but...
What are you doing here in rural Japan, Jack?
Taking in the sights.
Yep.
Going to a few onsen.
Ooh.
Oh.
There's a bathhouse.
Bathhouse. Yep.
What else
That's
can you do in
nice.
Japan?
You watched Kurosawa movies?
Yeah.
Yep.
Play the shakuhachi flute.
Ooh.
Feeling shame.
Yeah.
Martyring some Catholics.
Yeah. It's my favorite pastime.
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave with my MKM steel now before you steal it, as he said before.
It's a good pun, actually.
Yeah.
I like that pun. Oh my god, the steel's going everywhere! It flew up into the air! It hit the orphan!
Oh no.
Oh, Jack is here, Zach is here, and I'm here too. It's time to talk about Rashomon.
Wow.
Wow. Hi, Jack. You usually do bad movies.
Yeah. Although King Kong wasn't.
King Kong was alright.
King Kong was a banger, I would say.
It was a pretty good film.
Was it Son of...
Son of Kong, definitely not. Son of Kong left us all ashamed of our lives.
That was pretty terrible.
Yeah.
But Jack, like, something that people might not know about you is that you like watching good movies.
Yeah, that's...
Whoa!
Yeah.
That's one of my other defining characteristics.
Bit controversial, but definitely a hot take.
I do enjoy it, yeah.
And so you're joining me here in my dim bedroom as we talk about the movie Rashomon that Zach chose.
I thought this was 1950s Japan.
I mean, we're in Japan.
Yeah.
That's what the atmosphere that's still going is doing.
It's a dim bedroom in Japan.
Yes.
Yeah.
In a forest.
In a forest.
Yes. Zach, you chose this one, so it's only fair that you start off with first impressions. We're going to do spoiler-free, then jump into spoilers. There's not much to say spoiler-free, I think, with this one. But
this is really weird, because this had nothing to do with Pokemon, which I first thought going into it. You know, I thought it was like some weird parody.
Like, like Rashomon, they're Pokemon, but they've all got rashes.
Yeah, exactly, which made logical sense. But it actually has nothing to do with Pokemon. It has to do with some weird people telling weird stories, and that this is not a samurai movie at all. This is just people lying. Oh my god, wait a minute. It's another M word. I can't say it out loud, otherwise the orphan will...
It's a mystery.
Ah, no.
It's a mystery movie!
Oh god, not another mystery.
How many mystery movies have you guys been doing?
We did one last week.
Yeah.
We did two a few weeks ago.
Yeah. There's a running thing where everything has just been a mystery. And
Yeah.
bring it up, the orphans just...
It's a mystery.
Yeah, we get it.
We get it.
Shut up.
But Zach, what did you think of the movie that you chose?
Yeah, I thought it was an interesting choice. I enjoyed it. I liked the soundtrack. I liked the story. I liked the, dare I say it, mystery.
It's a mystery!
Yeah, it was not exactly what I was expecting.
Yeah, I mean, when you think Kurosawa, you think Seven Samurai, Hidden Fortress.
Yeah, that's the one I actually know of him. Because I've seen bits of it. I haven't seen the whole thing, but I've seen
4
bits
hours long.
of it. Yeah. And it was good. I liked it.
It was good. You liked it?
It was very different from what we've been doing lately. So
this is definitely the first movie we've seen this year that's not told in a straight line, which I think is good. Like last week, we had a movie not being shot on a straight line; it was on a Dutch angle. This week, the story's on a Dutch angle. So that's pretty good. What did you think, Jack?
Yeah, I just finished watching it 20 minutes ago, so I'm still processing a little bit. I enjoyed the movie.
Very good. That's good to hear.
I think it's a good one.
It's hard not to spoil this.
It's a bit hard not to go in depth straight off the bat about this. I mean, okay, it's spoiler-free kind of synopsis. There's a crime, and then a fight, and we're told different versions of what happened.
Yeah, we're told 4 different versions.
It's just hoodwinked. It's hoodwinked for adults. That's what this is. Or it's the Ridley Scott's The Last Duel from a few years ago.
Are you saying that hoodwinked is not for adults?
Hoodwinked is for adults, but Rashomon is more for adults.
Okay.
Than Hoodwinked.
Is it for more adults?
Is Rashomon for more adults?
Yeah.
No, I think Rashomon's for less adults because it's a bit more niche.
Less adults, but they're more adult.
But no kids.
No kids.
Unless you're like 15 and in film school.
More percent of adult.
Yeah.
What if you're a very precocious, like an 11-year-old?
You're probably watching Donnie Darko, let's be real.
Yeah.
We're not watching this one. Yeah, it's non-linear storytelling. It's good acting. I'm trying to think, like, a lot of my criticisms in this are just spoiler stuff.
Well, we could just jump into spoilers.
We might need to just jump into spoilers. I mean, usually we have an ad break before spoilers, but we don't even have time to reach that ad break, so I think we might just...
The real meat of this movie is the conversation and the sort of 4 stories that are told. I mean, even that in itself is almost a spoiler. But it's sort of expected in this movie. But it's the telling of the same scenario 4 times, and all 4 of them are different.
Yes.
And it's very interesting as you're going through, hearing all 4 of the stories, because of the conclusions you as an audience come up with watching the film.
Yes.
And that's sort of the main crux of the film. Is what do you think.
Yeah, it's different to. I mean, it's definitely different to Hoodwinked because you don't make up your own scenario.
Yeah.
It's just like those people were lying. Now here's the truth. With Hoodwinked, the same with The Last Duel. I don't know if either of you saw that. It's basically this, but like medieval.
Yeah.
It's like Matt Damon and Adam Driver are like knights, and they have a fight over someone that Adam Driver assaulted. It's the same movie, but it's like 2.5 hours long because it's Ridley Scott. Like even that one, it's like you aren't meant to come up with your own conclusion. It just tells you what happens.
This is it leaves you sort of at the end to come up with your own conclusions, which is an interesting take because you don't really know by the end what exactly happened.
Yeah.
But I'll rate it a goodie.
Mm-hmm.
It's got me in a thinking mood. I'm now thinking about things. I'm like, maybe some bits were true of each. Maybe one was story. Maybe none of them. Maybe they all suck. You know? Maybe humanity is doomed. Maybe we're just doomed to repeat a cycle of lies and mishaps. You know? Or maybe the first guy was just telling the truth. Who knows? You know? Yeah. So
Could have stopped the movie at half an hour. Like,
That's it. No, I actually stopped watching after that first story. Looked up the synopsis for the rest of it. And now I'm here. So that's going to be my hot take around. It was just the first story.
The first one was right, and then
and the rest of it sucks. So
okay.
I'm going to give this a goodie with my half an hour viewing of this movie.
A goodie from Zach. Yeah, Jack. Yeah. What do you like? What?
Thank you for the great leading question.
What?
Can I answer that question with a question?
Yeah.
What?
Good question.
No, I liked what I found interesting. So it starts with the first two characters you're introduced to are a woodcutter and a priest. And it's just like, man, we've heard these stories, and these stories have rocked our world.
Yeah.
And it's so clear that they haven't grown up in a world with true crime. Because by the time we're 9, we've watched CSI and we're like, I've seen like a prostitute's body dumped in a dumpster.
Yeah,
so it's cool these guys' worlds were pretty shook.
And it's also like we're hearing them recount the court hearing that happened. So maybe they didn't even say the story that happened in the court hearing correctly. We don't even know.
What?
We don't even know.
Think of that. What if it's all a lie? Oh my
layers on
God.
layers. But Jack, an oldie or a goodie?
A goodie.
A goodie from Jack.
A goodie.
A goodie from me as well. I think it's good. I got some slight reservations about should a man be writing this story? Is the female character just a trophy? And
absolutely.
There needs to be some nuance there to make this age perfectly. Yes. But for a storytelling experiment, I think this is very good. That's my hot take.
Definitely not our modern sensibilities. I thought the last story showed some real depth to the...
That one did show depth,
Well, that's the thing that I was expecting, was they sort of paint her as this token trophy sort of thing, but at the end, you see the shoes kind of on the other foot.
Yeah.
Manipulated other people, and I was like, aha!
There we go.
I knew there was a little more here.
Oh yeah, and of course, like, it's a Kurosawa movie, so it's shot incredibly well. The opening scene where you see, like, the broken down... I don't even know what it is. It's like a building. It's where the priest hangs out, so it might be the temple.
The broken temple. Yeah.
That was really, really cool.
I also like the shot of the woodcutter just when he was telling his very first story. Just him walking through the forest. That was... Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was a good, 5-minute scene of him just walking through the trees.
It made me want to walk through the trees.
It made you want to walk through trees.
That bit's particularly good, spoiler, because that's where the music starts to kick in. You just, because you have that sort of opening with the rain, you have them talking for a bit, and then he starts the story, and he starts walking through the forest, and then you hear dom, 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 dom.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, yeah, now I'm getting into this.
So the music was good. I mean, like, last week we had The Third Man, which was 90s sitcom music the entire week. And now,
that was funny.
And now this week we've also got something a bit different with the music. It is, it's quite good. It's just a good, go watch it. If you haven't listened to this episode, you're probably a film bro, you've probably already seen it. So go check it out if you haven't seen it.
If you're an 11-year-old Japanese boy, go see it.
Sure, it's a hot take, but
Yeah. I mean,
Are you saying that you think every 11-year-old Japanese boy should watch this movie?
absolutely.
It's an interesting platform.
Yeah, look, I'm leaning into it, alright? I'm leaning into it.
Just before we started recording, I was berating Zach for not leaning in.
And I'm leaning into it.
leaning
I said
in
that
now.
I'd never seen him lean in. A day.
Well, I'm leaning in. Do you see me leaning in now?
I think he
you
slapped his
don't
knee.
protest too much.
Yeah, look, I might be leaning in too much to compensate for lack
I
of
think you're
leaning.
not actually leaning in. At
Oh,
all. I think you're.
Ooh.
I think you're saying that you're leaning in, but leaning in often speaks for itself.
Oh my god, a performative leaner.
Exactly.
A performative
A
leaner.
performative lean in.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. When
No.
truly,
Yeah.
in your spirit, energetically,
Yes.
you're leaning out.
Well, I don't know. I have seen Zach have a lot of cough syrup in his time. I think he does lean a
Yeah,
lot. He leans a lot.
I hate everything.
So that's a joke for the American kids. That one.
The 11-year-old American.
The 11-year-old
in that
American.
one.
With their lean.
Oh, jeez.
Dear me.
Alright.
Oh, well, spoilers. 3 goodies. Go watch it, I guess.
Yeah, it was good.
Is it just because I'm American that you don't think I'd steal the Declaration of Independence? Well, joke's on you, that's the most American thing you could possibly do. And that's why I, Selly McSeller, love the movie National Treasure. And Sandro and Zach from Oldie But a Goodie, they reviewed it over on their Patreon, patreon.com/Oldie But a Goodie pod. They're doing so many bonus episodes, 2 a month, and you can get them right there. But why do you want to get them? Here's a clip to tempt you. I wrote down a note based off like what you said, where you've got the archaeology nerds and then the computer nerds. I wrote down a note that was, this movie is just one giant, can you say that in English? Joke. Yeah. Because the amount of times one of the nerds says something nerdy, and then the one nerd who's not the same sort of nerd as them is like, but can you bloody say that in bloody English, please?
Yeah, because one half of them are like history nerds, and he's the computer nerd. So like they'll say something history nerd, and the computer nerd's like, I don't know what the fuck you just said, you dumb. And then he'll say something computer nerdy, and they'll go, wow, what a fucking nerd. Can you speak English? Yeah.
Nicolas Cage as Superman in the 90s? Nah, I want Nicolas Cage as Indiana Jones in the early 2000s. You can check that episode out right now, patreon.com/Oldie But a Goodie pod. You can get ad-free episodes and early episodes of the main show as well. Weehaw! Weehaw! Yeehaw! I'm an American, though.
Well, we're going to get into some spoilers. All the spoiler-roos, one might say,
Ooh.
if you're in Australia.
Yeah, no one else would say.
Oh, I forgot to mention, there's a bunch of, like, side swipes in this movie, and I know that George Lucas completely ripped off the Kurosawa movie Hidden Fortress for Star Wars, but I think he got the editing from this one. Because it's the same sort of thing. Anyway, just something to bring up.
We could go through the characters and then the stories.
There's a bunch of different, it's a bunch of, as you mentioned, Jack, it opens with the woodcutter, the priest, and then, like, the common man is also kind of brought in.
Yeah.
The priest doesn't say a whole lot during this, but the woodcutter and the common man are kind of having a lot of conversations.
So I think the woodcutter is relaying what happened to the common man.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's our vocal point for the story going forward. And he speaks about the other characters in the movie, the bandit, the wife, and the husband.
Bandit, wife, and husband, who's also a samurai, but doesn't really do much. He's not a very good samurai.
No, I think he's more just like a landowner.
Yeah.
Because technically, samurai, all they were just noble landowners back in the day. A lot of them did go out and become like proper samurai, as we know them.
Yes.
The sword fighting things. But otherwise, a lot of them were just nobles.
Right.
So not necessarily good sword fighters, as we may or may not see. Maybe they were really good. Going by the first story, he was actually a really good sword fighter.
That's right. Yeah, because we see the story from those 3 perspectives, and then also the woodcutter who was hiding in the bushes the whole time.
Yeah, yes.
Spoiler.
Or was he? Or was he,
he? Did he just make it up? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe he's full of shit because he stole the pearl dagger when he showed up. And then it was like, the reason I did that, I was there the whole time. Don't worry about it.
But yeah, Jack, because intro for the story that they're telling is the same for all the stories. So what kind of happens during the accounts that they're retelling?
So there's a bandit named Tajomura, and he sees this samurai and his wife
Yes.
walking through the forest.
Yes.
Yeah.
And in his retelling, he thinks, I want that wife
Mm-hmm.
for my own. It'd be better if I didn't have to kill the samurai.
Yes.
So he wrestles the samurai, ties him up, and then has his way with the wife.
Has non-consensual sex.
Yeah. Although
But
from his perspective,
Yes, from
he seduced her.
His telling of the story says that she gave in.
Yeah.
But that's only, I think, in his version of the stories.
Yeah, that's only in his own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, the wife says, it's too much shame to bear to have two men that I've laid with alive in the world. Please, Tajimura, kill my husband.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then he does.
They have
he has an honourable sword fight
True.
where he frees, as this is my canon true version of events,
God.
I have to defend it, where he frees the noble samurai, and they have a samurai's duel, where they have a pretty good sword fight. I enjoyed the sword fight.
It's a good one.
It was visually quite good. Where they have a bit of a sword fight, which eventually ends with the bandit killing the samurai.
Yes.
Although, I will point out that throughout the story, he's been laughing like the Joker from Dark Knight. He's just a little... He does seem a little off as he bursts into laughter a lot of the time.
I loved his performance, because the movie is incredibly dark and not pleasant. And just him... just laughing, just being a madman. I thought added a good...
He also drank from a river and said he got poisoned from it.
Oh yeah, well he was passed out and found somewhere down a river, so he explains that I got poisoned.
He also then says later on that he sold a sword for booze, so that may or may not be connected to the fact that he was found passed out by a river. Which I thought was quite funny that he mentions that he bought liquor, but this is like at the end of his story, whereas at the start of the story he was found and said he was poisoned by a snake.
Yeah.
So he sort of disproves his own story at the end.
Yeah, I don't think... I think you'd have to be quite a madman to think his version of the story was correct. That's all I'm going to say. Unless you're going to lean into that one, Zach.
Now I feel like I'm being goaded. I shouldn't lean in. But at the same time, I'm already leaning. So I'm going to fall if I lean anymore. So I'm gonna step back for a bit. I'm going to do what Jack says I was doing the whole time, and I'm going to back out.
He's backing out. I liked the quote, though. We get a quote at the end of the bandit telling his story where someone's like, I don't care if it's a lie as long as it's entertaining. And I was like, ooh, that's a line that holds up pretty well today, I think. That was a good one. Anyway, the wife's story is completely different. Her story is like, the bandit, he does what he does and leaves. She tries to help the samurai, but her husband's like, can't believe you just let that happen to you. Fuck you, actually. I ain't helping you.
But, the samurai's performance there was great.
Yeah.
She said it was a look of just cold loathing.
Yes.
And that look, it was a look of cold loathing.
Yeah. It was cold.
Yeah.
She accidentally kills him.
She passes
She
out.
goes into a fugue state.
Yeah.
And then comes to, and he has her dagger in his chest.
Yeah. She disassociates and somehow kills him, but he was killed by a sword, not a dagger, so...
Yeah, but what she tells is she thinks she killed him.
Yes.
That's what she says. She's like, oh shit, I went with the dagger, I must have fainted or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I woke up and he had my dagger. She was holding it, so from her perspective, she killed him. And that's what she's admitting to the court.
Yeah.
Is that she killed him. Which is the hot take compared to all the other ones. I'm like... it's interesting how in her story she kills him.
Well, I think it's meant to be a form of, like, it's a metaphor of like survivor's guilt.
Yes.
I think is how I read into that. But then they don't do anything with it.
No. But that's the bit that's interesting. It's only in her story.
Yes.
That she's admitting.
Yes.
But it isn't the true story. So why is she incriminating herself? Does she feel guilt? What does it mean?
One of the things I really liked in the wife's story was honor and shame. How she said, "I'd rather you kill me, than I have to suffer that feeling of that look of loathing."
Yeah,
that was good. The third story is like a medium summons the ghost of the samurai and tells the story, which is the vocal effects were great for the medium.
Absolutely.
That was really
cool.
I predicted that they'd bring the samurai's version of the story in. I just thought it was going to be like he wasn't dead, that he was actually still alive, and like a kind stranger come along, patched him up, and he was actually okay, and he's like, well, this is what happened, you know, you need to go arrest these people, whatever, like... Somebody's like, no. We're summoning his spirits to give his account. So there's also the element of here that this could all be made up bullshit by the, priestess.
It definitely would be admissible in a modern court.
Yeah. It's
Or maybe it would.
Maybe. You don't know. What is the samurai story, Zach? His one's weird.
Yeah, so in his one... he's tied up. But then she was like, please take me with you, but then before you do that, murder my husband. Everyone's shocked that this woman's audacity at fucking being like, yeah, we banged, let's go. I'm betraying my husband, but also kill my husband.
Yes.
And so even the bandit's like, that's fucked up, lady. You know what? Bro, my samurai guy, my pal,
it was really the broest of the... His story,
which is funny because everyone believes like this is a spirit talking, so they have no reason to doubt the spirit's story.
Yeah.
And the spirit's like, you know, at that moment, I connected with that bandit guy.
Yeah, no, he was
we
like...
were cool. I forgive him for banging my wife.
Yeah, no, he said something like, at that moment I was like... I'm fine with everything you did, actually.
Yeah. Because he's like, hey, samurai guy, I'll kill your wife. You just say the word. You just give a nod. And I'll kill your wife for you. No questions asked.
And then they chase each other. Like, he goes and chases the wife for ages. Hours pass, and the samurai's like...
Does.
The bandit does. And then the samurai's like, well... I'm just gonna kill myself.
Yeah, that's his story, which is wild. And leads me to believe it's just the priestess making up some bullshit.
I mean, maybe. I liked how he was also not a good guy in any of the stories as well. I liked that part of this movie as well, because you're like, the samurai is meant to be the noble one, but this one's like, no, all people are terrible.
Yeah, but I mean, what does he do that's particularly bad, other than get duped by the promise of mirrors and swords in a forest?
In the first one?
Yeah, in the first one, the bandit's like, oh yeah, I have some cool swords. You like these swords? Got a whole bunch of them round back, sell them to you for cheap.
In the first one, he just wasn't very shrewd enough.
No, not very shrewd. Yeah. That's my biggest criticism of the samurai. It's like, why are you buying...
In the first story.
Yeah, in the first story, which I believe to be canon.
That's the canon.
I'm leaning back into it again.
Oh, no.
In the first story, the samurai's like, oh yeah, I'll follow this random
Is that
bandit
because
guy.
you're a pro-samurai guy and it's the most flattering interpretation?
Yes, correct.
Or is it because you believe the bandit to be honest?
Well, no, because it isn't pro-samurai, because that makes the samurai look like a fucking idiot for following this bandit guy.
But that's the part that everyone agrees on, though. That's in the intro, everyone agrees on the intro.
Yeah, well, yeah. And that's what I'm going with. All I'm saying is the samurai is a fucking idiot for following this bandit into the woods for these discount swords. Just go to the town and get discount swords there.
The other reason he's an idiot for doing that is that the samurai had already been acting threatening. And then he was like, nah, it's just a joke.
Yeah. He said, no, it's a prank. And then,
good point.
And then, like, there's a moment where the samurai won't let the bandit go behind him. But then in the next scene, he lets the bandit go behind him.
Yeah.
which is the exact opposite of what he was letting him do before.
Yeah, it really didn't maintain those boundaries.
Yeah, like, he didn't really stick to his guns there in his plan, and it really went shape up. And all I gotta say is I just have big criticisms of the samurai's choices in that stage.
The final story that we get is the woodcutter's story, who was hiding in the bushes the whole time. Apparently.
Yeah.
His version of the story is everything was right up until the point where she is like, no, Mr. Bandit, I hate what you've done. I hate you, actually.
Yeah.
And she gets him to free the samurai.
Yeah.
And then the samurai's like, I should defend you, but I don't like you, actually, for everything that you've done. You're kind of bad on the samurai to do that. Followed by, the samurai just won't fight the bandit either.
Yeah.
It's just like, he's a bit of a, he's a bit of a wimp, this samurai. He's like, I'm not going to fight you. I'm not going to fight you.
And then the bandit pipes up. He's like, oh, don't slag off the woman. Women are just meant to be weak. You can't blame.
That's
right. I'm like, whoa, you can't say that, bandit guy.
So
it's sexist.
It's just kind of two bros. Neither of them know what to do at this point, and she's like, you did this awful thing to me, but you're also not backing me up. You're both cowards.
Yeah.
And then they're like...
I guess...
She cracks it, though. Because she's, like, crying this whole time, and they're having their, like, oh, this woman's not even worth it. She is too weak. She is too... And then she's like, ha ha! You both are fucking idiots.
Yeah.
You're dumb.
And then they're like, oh, I guess we are. We should probably fight. But
we
do
should
so reluctantly.
Yeah.
They have what is... It's not a funny moment in the movie, but it is a very funny fight. Because the choreography is so messy. They're just falling over.
Yeah, but here's the thing. We have the context of the first story where they had this, like, epic samurai duel.
Yes.
Where, like, their blades crossed 23 times. And the bandit had never crossed more than 20 times before with a person. He fought honorably. It was an epic battle. In this, they're, like, flailing around. They, like, clang the swords and then run in opposite directions.
In this story as well, the woodcutter's story, the energy of the bandit is completely different from all the other stories as well. Like, he's not...
Big coward.
Yeah, big coward, not as imposing.
Yeah. He's just sort of, like, slimy cowardice. To be fair, also, the samurai is also almost equally as cowardice in the fight.
Yeah.
Every time they, like, clash, they immediately try and run away from each other. They're, like, falling over each other's feet. They're just flailing their swords in every direction, trying to hit their opponent. They really don't want to fight.
They don't want to fight. And it makes for a very entertaining fight sequence, which is really cool. And I think the samurai falls over and the bandit's like, I think I meant to kill you, so I'm going to do this.
He falls over and he gets his sword stuck in a wood stump.
Yeah.
And he's like, fuck. And then the bandit's like, I guess I kill you here, and stabs him.
Yep. That's it. He's dead, and then she runs off. That's the woodcutter's version of the story. Oh yeah, and then it's revealed later that the woodcutter he stole the dagger.
Yes.
That they were kind of...
Because there's a 50-50 ratio here of stories. In one half, the samurai dies by the pearl dagger. This very valuable dagger. And in the other half, he dies by a sword. And in the woodcutter's story, he dies by the sword and all that. And that's because it's revealed that he, the woodcutter, the supposedly innocent man in this whole scenario, stole the pearl dagger while this is going on.
Yeah.
Presumably to feed his family.
And this comes back to the not being exposed to true crime thing. Because this was the woodcutter is telling all these stories in disbelief at man's capacity for dishonesty.
Ooh.
Yes.
And then he's confronted by the common man who says, hey, you stole that pearl dagger.
Yeah.
And he goes, oh, snap, I don't even know myself. Like, I don't even know my own soul. And so that was a pretty interesting moment. He hasn't seen true crime, so this is the first time he's finding out what humanity is capable of and what he might be capable of.
Yeah.
And we all know, having watched copious amounts of serial killer
Yeah,
documentaries.
Yeah.
We know that if we had a terrible upbringing and were kept in a cage or some shit, we'd probably be out killing animals. Like,
Yeah.
I watched Harry Potter. I know what happens when love potions get involved.
Exactly,
You just become a messed up piece of shit.
You're right. And I like as well how the priest this entire time has been listening as well, and he's just like, don't like any of this, actually.
It's funny, the priest is almost there just as, like, he is the holy character. He's sort of there to just witness everything and be like, man, that's some fucked up shit, you know?
He's just the middle ground. And then the very end of the movie, which I was not expecting, I thought it would just end with the final story, and they're like, this is what I think happened. This is what I think happened. End of movie. The end of the movie is they find a baby.
Baby.
That has been left at the temple. The common man is like, baby doesn't need the kimono it's wrapped in. It doesn't need that expensive amulet. I'm gonna steal it.
Yeah.
And then the other two are like, hey, yo, what the fuck?
Why are you doing that?
And then that's when the common man says to the woodcutter, yo, I know you stole that.
And they're like, you can't do that. Don't steal that stuff. And the woodcutter tries to stop him, and he's like, oh yeah? Well, I know you stole that fucking dagger.
Yeah.
Because I figured it out. And he deducted it, and the woodcutter's like, oh, fuck, I've been found out.
The priest is holding the baby.
Yeah.
And then the woodcutter's like, yo, give me the baby. And then the priest is like, what, you're going to steal the baby's clothes?
As well.
Yeah, to steal the baby. And then the woodcutter's like, nah, look, I fucked up.
Yeah.
But I have 6 kids, and other kids not going to be that much extra work.
Yeah.
And then you see the woodcutter leaving with the baby.
Yeah.
And I think that's the innocence
Yeah.
of humanity.
We see at that moment, because the whole movie, it's been raining the entire time, and then at that moment, the rain starts to lift a little bit as well.
Yeah.
And you're like, that sounds nice, actually. That's nice. And that's what Rashomon is. It's not about what happened. It's not about the events. It's about humanity. And some people also think it's about World War II, but I don't really read into it like that. I think, it's just more about, like, humanity and, that the world is slowly losing its humanity, and why true crime now?
Yeah,
as well.
Humanity, it's leaning in, it's all of these things.
It's leaning in? How is it leaning in?
It's leaning
if
I
into
really have to explain it to you, I don't know if we watch the same movie.
Yeah. It's about leaning into each story that you've committed to. You're leaning it in.
You're leaning into that story. And there's also a point as well where they were like, the events that happened were so traumatic that the characters that it happened to, this is probably what they think happened as well.
Yeah.
Which I was like,
Well, that's crazy. Yeah, that's the big thing. People lying to themselves, not just others.
That's a part of it.
They're like convincing themselves this is what happened, even though it happened differently.
Yeah.
Which is so mind-boggling to think about.
And then also the fact that it doesn't matter if it's true, it just matters if it's entertaining.
Yeah,
so it's like, well, maybe the bandit was telling nothing. It was all fake, but that's the fun version of what happened.
Yeah,
So-
none of the stories actually matter in the end because the outcome is the same.
Yes.
Where the bandit gets arrested and presumably hung or something,
Yeah, and she's now, unfortunately, due to the time it's set, her reputation is tarnished because of something that she couldn't control. And the samurai is just dead.
Yeah,
dead.
He's dead. Yeah, nothing really changes the fact he's dead.
This is dead.
And the priestess is still wacky.
But what do you think happened, Jack? We're talking about how it doesn't really matter what happened, but what do you think happened?
I think the woodcutter's story is probably the closest to the truth.
Yeah. I reckon you're right.
If I had to pick one, I'd say that's probably the closest to the truth. But I also wonder how much he's lying to himself.
Yeah.
Because I think it's not only that he stole his reckoning with himself, where he starts to think, what am I capable of? It's not only that he's stolen the dagger, it's that he was willing to lie in front of a court.
Yeah. Do you think he made up a bit more about what the woman said to make her look like a worse character to justify his actions in stealing her dagger?
Ooh.
Yeah, I think there was a little bit of that.
Yeah.
That's good. That's one thing that I'm like, I wish that we got more from her perspective, because this is a very, it's all men all the time, as is most movies at this time, but I just kind of want more from her. Because she is just a trophy.
Yeah.
She's still not really a character at the end of the movie.
Except in the woodcutter's story, she's more of a character where she's like, no, I was manipulating both of you fucking idiots the whole time.
Yeah.
I'm in charge.
Yeah.
But is that what happened, or is that the woodcutter trying to make up more of a thing so he feels better about stealing her dagger?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think, this is a great movie. I think it's really good.
Yeah, it makes you think.
Makes you think.
This reminded me of what's that weird movie where the guy who keeps forgetting his memory?
Oh, Memento.
Yeah, Memento. It has a little bit of that.
The non-linear sort of...
Yeah, the non-linear sort of story where you sort of learn a bit more as the film goes through, which I like. I like that style.
Yeah.
We had that in Oppenheimer recently. It has a bit of that.
Yeah, except it wasn't very good.
Ooh, hot take.
I haven't seen it, I can't.
I actually liked Oppenheimer.
I like the middle half of it. Hey, if you want my review of Oppenheimer, thank you for the segue, Zach.
Shit!
My other podcast, Aussie Nerds Talk Stuff, with friend of the show, Reese Pardon, was not around for a while, but it's back, and we did Barbie and Oppenheimer, and that episode's out. And I didn't know that Zach watched it, and if I had known that, I would have gotten you on the show.
That's fair. I can give my hot take right now. I liked Oppenheimer. I learned that he was a very interesting person. I thought that their use of the I have become death, destroyer of worlds was very dumb. They used that like 3 times in the movie. It should have been 1 time.
It should have been one time.
One big gravitas.
You're
Especially
right.
the first time they use it, which was a particularly dumb scene.
That's right.
That's all I'll say.
But, Rashomon, it went on to be a very influential story. There's a bunch of other versions of this. There's a stage play, which might be a musical because it was on Broadway. That'd be kind of funny. As I mentioned, Ridley Scott kind of remade it with The Last Duel. There's a Star Trek episode, A Matter of Perspective, which is the same thing, except I think it's like Worf lands on a planet and some shit happens and there's like a court hearing, so it's all the different takes. Fraser even did it. There's an episode of Fraser. It's just Rashomon. And also Hoodwinked is the big one.
I've seen that episode of Star Trek. I remember that one. That one was a good episode.
I think it's a good episode,
I used to play a theatre sports game called Rashomon.
Really?
And I think it was like, the same... You did a skit, and then you did the same from different perspectives.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. Because, someone makes up a story on the spot, and then the next person goes, well, here's what actually happened, and they tell it from their perspective. Oh, that's so good.
That's very cool. Oh, there's even Valerie, which is a Western version of Rashomon from the 50s, which was what I was going to suggest. I'm like, we could just do a straight remake of this, or we could be like Rashomon, but it's a Western, but that already exists.
Yeah.
So, never mind.
Look, I wouldn't be averse from it because Westerns are cool.
Westerns are cool, and we've never reviewed a good one on the podcast.
It's true. That's so funny, actually. Yeah, I don't think we've ever done a good Western.
We haven't.
We've done a lot because I like to pick them, but we've not done a good one. Oh, that's so sad.
We'll get them probably in the 60s. We might do
that's when Westerns hit their peak.
But yes, we do have to remake Rashomon to wrap up the episode. Jack, if you were to remake Rashomon, pick any setting, anything. What are some story ideas where you could make a movie like this? Different perspectives. Because we've got Hoodwinked, which is fairy tale characters. We've got like medieval times with the duels. They did Star Trek, they did like Westerns. What's something that you would like to see a story like this take place?
Let me think for a moment.
It's a good question. There's a lot of possibilities.
One that comes to mind is like a slasher movie.
Yeah,
but we see like the survivor, the person who died, and then the killer themselves.
Yeah, we get the killer themselves, and they're like, well, that's not what happened. I was having a great day, killing people left and right. I'd like that one.
It would be cool to have like one that's I don't necessarily know the setting, but each interpretation is a different genre. So you have the first version is just like it's melodrama. The second one is like a mumblecore. The next one is high stakes. Like margin call.
Each of the flashbacks is a different style of story.
That's a really fun
kind of
idea.
suits the personality.
I like the Bandit. It's like
in fact, there was an X-Files episode called Bad Blood, which was one of their kind of parody episodes.
Right.
like one of the Goofy episodes. I think they did like one Goofy episode every season. And,
Yeah.
it was about Mulder and Scully recounting the events in a small town where there were like vampires. It had Luke Wilson in it.
Okay.
And I think it was like a parody of a B-grade vampire movie. And in Scully's retelling, Luke Wilson's character is really charming.
Okay.
And then in Mulder's retelling, he's got like buck teeth and like. But there are moments where you see like set hands like move objects in the background and stuff like that.
That's great.
That's great. I love
very
that.
fun.
Yeah.
I like that. We should do that. We should have like a base setting,
Yes.
and then every story that goes through is a different like type. So like for the Bandit, I'm thinking it's a heist movie.
I was just thinking that even like a Rashomon heist movie, from the perspective of the people doing the heist, the bank owners themselves, like the cops.
Yeah.
But that's like a different thing to what
Like,
we're pitching.
because it'd be great, because in one interpretation, in a heist movie, the people that pull off the heist are always really cool. They're like badass. But like, if you do it like in some mumblecore movie, these guys are like really self-important.
Yeah.
They're like, think they're doing something.
Yeah. So like the Bandit rocks up.
Yeah.
So this idiot walked up, looking all high. He had a very suspicious suitcase that he kept like being like, "Oh, nothing's in here." Like, what a fucking idiot. We knew he was up to something, so we immediately called the cops.
Yeah.
That's a fun
But
idea.
like in his story, it's like, but unfortunately, I bumped into the cops at the end and they shot me. You know,
I
that sort
always
of
feel
thing.
that with like really good art or media, no matter the genre, when you're watching it, no matter the genre, really good art or media makes you think, oh yeah, this is what life is like. So if you watch a really like bleak, pessimistic TV show, you'll be like, this is exactly how the world is.
Yeah.
It is this dark and bleak. And then maybe afterwards, as a palate cleanser, you'll watch a really just light movie and you'll be like, oh no, people are generally pretty fine. Like, and you think that's what reality is. And so
we get all of that, but in one movie.
but in one
Yes.
movie.
Oh, that's a fun idea.
So my idea for this is we have a guy, the Bandit. He comes into a bank and he like steals something valuable. He gets caught at the end, but before that he has to like shoot someone to get out.
Yeah.
And so we have the perspectives. One of the perspectives is the ghosts of the guy he shot.
Yeah.
Like the haunted ghost.
The hostage.
Yeah. The hostage or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That I'm thinking of, maybe that's like I don't know how to do his perspective. Either going really cartoony, silly for that one.
You could do, one of those like Discovery Channel supernatural documentary things.
Yeah.
You could do that for the ghosts.
Yeah,
that's good. Probably one of the cops, like the responders.
Is the cop showing up is like the woodcutter who turns out to have also stolen something from the bank in the commotion or something like that. You know, you have the lady as like the bank teller lady, and like in the Bandit story, she was super into him. In her story, it was like, what the fuck is this fucking idiot doing?
Yeah.
I'm calling the cops immediately on this fucking idiot. You know, she's like 9 to 5 job. She's none of this fucking shit.
Yeah. In one of the interpretations, like the main character is kind of this, like in his mind, affable Jim Carrey-esque.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
In another one, it's like a really bleak, socially maladapted guy.
I reckon then, not to cast him immediately, but Paul Dano could do all of that.
Yeah.
He could be a creep, and he could be like Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
How many movies has Paul Dano done where he's a fun guy, though?
I can't think of many.
Yeah.
Hey, look, we can add one more.
I feel like he's always slightly tortured.
He's always well, I mean, in the Fablemans, he's still pretty tortured in that.
But
I think you got a good point. Maybe not the best bit.
Yeah, but we could also have it like him interpreting himself as a fun guy is really weird and creepy. Like it cuts to him and he's like, "Oh no, a fun guy,"
You know what's wrong about you? You do lean in.
Shut up. Fuck you.
We could do that. Who's the director, Jack?
The director?
Who's the director?
How about the Inside Number 9 guys? Like Steve Pemberton and Reece Shearsmith. Because they've done Inside Number 9 has done all sorts of genres. So.
If you haven't seen that, it's anthology series. Every episode is set inside one room, and it's like wild twists and shit. There's like the comedy ones, the horror ones.
Yeah.
It's a great show.
Which works quite well in this, where we have the multiple genres. So we got the main actor.
Yeah.
You got the secretary / bank teller lady.
The bank teller.
You've got the ghost, the victim,
Yep.
as it were.
The victim.
And then the cop.
One of the
Those
guards.
are
We need a woodcutter as well.
Well,
Who's
the cop is the woodcutter.
The cod could be... Oh, well, maybe instead of a cop, he's just a guard. He's just a guard.
Yeah, well, that's it. Yeah, that's what I was saying. He was just like a guard who happened to be there.
Yeah.
And he's telling his witness story to...
I reckon it's kind of like he's like a kind of slice of life Patterson like energy.
Yeah.
Like he's just a guy who does nothing special in his life.
Yeah. He works 9 to 5, he goes home, to his wife.
Yeah.
He has 6 kids.
He's got 6 kids, exactly. Alright, so let's start casting this then. Do we want Paul Dano? I think you're right, Jack. I don't think he's actually shown any charisma, so I don't think he could really pull it off.
Oh, okay.
Who else is there that could work? Oh dear.
He could be the dead guy.
Some names that I would like to see in this: Hiroyuki Sanada. I guess people would probably know him as Scorpion from the recent Mortal Kombat. I think he would be good in one role, maybe the guard. Could be the guard. Could even be the hostage that gets shot, because he seems like the sort of guy, he could play a guy who maybe tries to protect the other hostages, ends up getting shot because of that.
In the new John Wick,
yes,
there's a few good Asian actors. I'm thinking of 2 of them. The guy who plays IP Man.
Oh!
Ip Man.
Donnie Yen.
Ip Man.
Donnie Yen. Yeah.
Yeah, Donnie Yen would be a good character. That was the first one I thought of.
Who would he be? I mean, he could even be the thief.
Yeah.
He could be the lead.
Oh, absolutely. I think he could rock that. Because he's done both serious and comedic characters.
I feel like Michael Shannon as the samurai.
Michael Shannon.
Yeah.
Could work.
And that's the guy who dies, the ghost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that. Michael Shannon.
Florence Pugh.
Florence Pugh could work as, like, the bank teller. I'm thinking of, like, the guard as well. I'm trying to think who's someone we could put
Awkwafina.
there.
Your favorite actress.
I do like Awkwafina a lot. I don't think she would suit the...
No, but it'd be really funny to have her be sassy, like, who the fuck is this piece of shit?
Well, we could have her be not the guard. Oh, actually, she would be a good guard.
Yeah, she could be a great guard.
Alright, we'll put Awkwafina in as the guard.
Yeah. Done. Bang.
Why not? And, like, her version of it is, like, it's like a music video, because she's, she's like a rapper, so it's like
I hate that so much.
It turns into that. The bank teller.
She just raps her entire, like, witness statement.
Exactly. The bank teller, I think, could be fun as Florence Pugh. I think she works. Yep. And then maybe, like, the guy who runs the bank could be Hiroyuki Sanada. Well, he's, like, the top guy. Yeah.
I was going to think there's someone who also has to be, like, the investigator, hearing all the stories.
Then that also works for Hiroyuki Sanada. Yeah,
that's what I was actually going to say for him, is, like, because they're all giving witness statements, they have to give it to someone. It has to be, like, an investigator or something. And, he's smoking a giant cigar, being like, damn, this is fucked up shit.
Alright, well, yeah, there we go. That's our version of Rashomon. That brings us to the end of this episode. Pretty short one, but
yeah,
it's a short movie as well. It's like an hour 20, so
it's good.
Yeah, that's good. Go watch it. Go watch this movie. Zach, no, I'm picking the next one. Fuck you, actually. Never mind. I'm picking the next movie.
Whoa! Cool beans. Love it.
But that is the entire episode right there. Jack, thank you. There. Jack, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for inviting me again.
Yeah, it was awesome. Thank you for joining us.
It was fun to have you. We'll get you back on at some point as well.
Yeah, we need to find worse movies for you to watch. This time we really failed on the whole terrible movies.
We'll need to find something that is the equivalent of not another teen movie.
Yeah, or
maybe Son of Kong bad.
Son of Kong bad? Not
another teen movie was like bad, but not in any way that was reward. Like,
That's true.
You felt nothing.
Yeah.
You got nothing out of it.
That is a good point. We'll get you back on there. Is there anything that you'd like to plug?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely. Is there any project that you're not involved with but you would like to share?
Absolutely not.
Alright, there's nothing. Do you have a social that you'd like to plug?
Absolutely not.
Alright, well, Jack is an enigma,
Stay
but he's
out
on
of
the
my
show.
life.
Well, Jack is an enigma, but you're always showing up, so thanks so much for coming on the show. We do have stuff to plug there. We are on Facebook, we're on Instagram at OldieButtyGoodiePod. You can send us an email too. Thanks to everyone who reviews us on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, on any podcatcher you use. We've been getting a bunch more recently, so thanks to
nice.
that. That's really
awesome.
good.
Thank you for listening.
Thanks for everyone who listens to us on YouTube. Our YouTube this year has been popping off, and I think people are actually listening to us on YouTube, not Googling a movie and then thinking we've uploaded it and getting annoyed at our YouTube channel.
Yeah. Classic mistake.
Which is what tends to happen. We've actually been getting a lot of people come through on our YouTube, so thanks so much for checking us out there. We have got a Patreon, patreon.com/OldieButtyGoodiePod. Zach, we're reaching the end of our K-drama.
The K-drama.
Which is our second year in a row where we've done 3 months of nothing but Nicolas Cage movies. Our episode on National Treasure, it's out.
Oh, National Treasure, that was a good one. Haven't seen it before.
Yeah.
I saw it, and you know what? I viewed that movie.
You viewed it.
Yeah.
I saw it as a kid.
The hell out of it.
I viewed that ever-living heckin' out of that movie.
That's right. I watched it as a kid. I watched it again, and you know what? I definitely watched that movie. I definitely watched it. Have you watched National Treasure, Jack?
I like National Treasure.
Do you like it?
Damn.
I
also liked it.
I was just sitting here quietly, letting you speak honestly.
It was good. I liked it.
It was fun. And we've got the final episode coming up, I think next week, which is a bonus battle between Con Air and Gone in 60 Seconds.
Damn.
There's two big ones.
Those are some two bangers.
We've been doing mostly action movies for this K-drama, so we're going to wrap up with his two biggest action movies. And that's all there. Patreon.com, there's some ad-free stuff as well if you want ad-free episodes. But, time to pick next week's episode. What are we doing next?
It is 1951.
Okay.
And there's some interesting choices, like The Thing from Another World.
That's the original version of John Carpenter's The Thing.
It is. Not by John Carpenter, though.
No. Now, I have seen clips of that movie, and it is just a bunch of people standing around in a room talking, and then a monster's like, blah.
Yep.
So I don't think I'll pick it, but it is...
I would say objectively a worse film than the remake.
It is one of the worst versions. It's one of the worst horrors that were then remade in the 80s and made good. It's one of the worst ones in that genre. Well, Jack and Zach, what about the original Alice in Wonderland?
It is a classic, Disney classic, but why would we do that?
We haven't done a single Disney classic this year, and I don't intend to start now.
Whoa, agreed.
Zachary, they're all sad and make me sad.
Yeah, like Bambi. Why would they kill her mum?
Oh, A Streetcar Named Desire. That's a classic.
Yeah. What about The Man from Planet X?
Oh, now that sounds a bit horny, though, Zach.
Flight to Mars.
Ooh, Flight to Mars. What about FBI Girl? Oh my god, it's a girl. She works for the FBI.
What about Bedtime for Bunzo?
That doesn't sound like something either of us would like to watch.
A professor hires a nanny to help him raise a chimp.
I feel like a movie about a chimp from the 50s, it's going to have some behind-the-scenes stuff that's not going to be fun to talk about.
Yep, definitely.
So, maybe not that one.
What about Superman and the Mole Man?
Oh, is that a 4-hour-long Superman serial?
Probably.
At least it's not Batman works for the US Army and is trying to hunt down Japanese people, whatever the fuck that option was from a few years, from a few weeks ago.
Yikes.
No, Zach, I am picking something with a bit of a sus name. But it's not anything you've mentioned so far. I'm picking a movie called Captain Horatio Hornblower.
Ooh, I do love a bit of horn blowing.
Now, I could see a nod of recognition from Jack. There was a mini-series during the 90s, early 2000s called Hornblower, about a boy on a ship He sails around, he does stuff on his ship. There's a mutiny, some other stuff happens. He gets thrown in jail. It's a fun time. I want to watch the original movie that's based off the books that inspired that miniseries. Have you seen Hornblower, Jack?
I have not.
Ooh.
But my parents watched it.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
It's a fun time. So, Zach, you haven't seen Hornblower,
I
have you?
have no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
Well, I'm making you watch Hornblower.
I'm getting ready to be horny.
And we all know that one of my favorite genres this year has been men on a ship.
That is... yeah.
Treasure Island, Captain Blood.
Great movies.
All great movies.
And that one weird one where a rich boy gets...
Captain's Courageous, which I grew up watching.
Courageous.
That's right.
Yeah, that one was a good one as well.
That one was very nostalgic, and Hornblower will be equally nostalgic.
Oh,
so
excellent. I'm glad you're getting all this nostalgia.
we're going to get our horns blown next week.
Yep, excellent.
Alright, that's the episode. Zach, you gotta skedaddle. Jack, what do you want? Do you want us to leave you here?
Yeah, do you need to teleport out of rural Japan, or what?
I got intel on Japan's economic miracle.
Oh, no.
He was an agent the
I
whole
want to
time.
invest.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You're investing in Toyota. That's right.
That's right.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Alright, well, we'll leave Jack here to do his Forrest Gump journey through time.
Yeah. Oh,
That's fine.
absolutely.
All right.
This might have something to do with the messed up timeline in where I'm from.
Right. We should get to that. I've kind of been ignoring that over the last month.
Yeah, look, it's not really important. We have like 50 years to figure it out.
That's true.
Because how time works. So.
We do have quite a long time to figure it out. Yeah. I do want to say, though, and I have noticed this, I was going to bring it up, I do feel like everyone that I've met throughout history, Zach, does sound like you.
What?
It's almost like time and everyone in time, aside from me and the orphan and any guests, is just you.
That seems very specific and weird.
Very odd.
This Japanese guy, he sounds very Japanese to me.
What the hell are you talking about?
Yeah.
Zachary, baby. I'm a regular Nihonjin.